All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're exploring a fictional story that feels a little too real. It's about how the AI tools we're all starting to use could go completely, catastrophically wrong. So, welcome to Lawsuit City, where AI hallucinations don't just make weird art, they can actually bankrupt billionaires.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly sets the stage for the massive cautionary tale we're about to walk through. This isn't some far-off place. It's somewhere any of us could end up, just by putting a little too much faith in a machine.
And get this, it wasn't your usual corporate flameout. We're not talking about a market crash, a massive scandal, or some crazy sophisticated hack. Nope. This entire empire crumbled for one single reason. They trusted their brand new enterprise AI assistant to tell them the truth. And that brings us to the real heart of the issue, what our source material calls the plausible fiction problem. This is about that exact moment when our default setting, the one that assumes what we're reading is basically true, just completely dies. Now, the key word here is confident. See, the AI isn't saying, well, maybe, or I think this is right. It's presenting total fiction with the authority of absolute fact. That's what makes it so believable and so incredibly dangerous. So let's see how this actually works in the real world. Picture an analyst doing her job. She's smart, she's careful, and she asks the company's shiny new AI assistant a really basic question about legal compliance. What could possibly go wrong? And look at that answer. It doesn't just say yes, it says yes, absolutely. It sounds so sure of itself. It's specific, it even cites a law by name. I mean, this sounds exactly like the kind of airtight answer you'd want from an assistant backed by a world-class tech company.
And there it is, the big twist. The AI just made it up. The entire law, the very thing its confident answer was based on, was a complete and utter fabrication. It's a hallucination, but it's dressed up to look like legal fact.
So what's the price tag on a single confident lie like that? $80 million. That's how much the company lost in voided contracts and the massive lawsuit that came right after, all because one employee trusted one answer without a second thought.
But it didn't stop there. That wasn't just a one-off mistake. That single error set off a chain reaction, a total cascade of failures that rippled through the entire company and brought the whole thing crashing down.
First, it hit the legal department. They used the AI to help write a contract and sent it to a government agency. The problem? It was full of references to laws that didn't exist. You can imagine how well that went over. Next up, engineering. They took a recommendation from the AI for a firmware update, pushed it out, and bricked 40,000 devices overnight. Suddenly, customer service is just a sea of angry calls and returns. Then, accounting. They figured, hey, let's use the AI for our tax filings. But the AI missed a critical regulatory change. And the next thing they knew, the IRS was knocking on their door for a full audit. And this one. This is the most terrifying. The HR team used the AI to automate background checks. The system glitched, it failed, and they ended up hiring a registered sex offender for a job where they would be working directly with children. It's just a catastrophic real-world consequence of misplaced trust. And you know what the excuse was in every single one of these departments? The same thing. Hey, we just did what the AI told us to do. And that right there, that shows the huge misunderstanding. They didn't see the AI as a tool to help them think, they saw it as a replacement for their own judgment. So naturally, this all ends up in court. And it brings up this huge, terrifying new question for our time. When a machine gives you advice that leads to disaster, who's actually to blame? So the company immediately sues the AI's creator, in this case OpenAI. But is it really their fault? Or is it the fault of the people who use the tool without ever checking its work? This is the accountability void we've all kind of stumbled into. The judge in this hypothetical case just cuts right to the chase. I mean, listen to that. Think about how wild that is. The company paid extra for an enterprise version of a tool that the maker freely admits might just lie to them. It sounds completely insane when you say it like that. And the defense from the lawyers? It's so simple, it's chilling. Basically, yep, everything you just said is true, but they clicked I agree. Because of course, buried deep in those terms of service that none of us ever read was that exact disclaimer. Hey, this thing might make stuff up, and if it does, it's not our problem. In that one click, all the responsibility, all the liability gets shifted from the creator straight to you, the user.
Okay, so if the way we're doing things now is clearly broken, what's the solution? Well, the source material actually lays out a possible path forward, a way to build the instruction manual for AI we should have had from day one.
The idea is something called an AI accountability law, and it would force every AI to be transparent. Every single answer would have to come with a confidence score, like, I'm 95% sure this is right, or I'm only 40% sure. It would have to cite its sources, and if you decide to act on its advice, it would make you acknowledge the risk, making the stakes crystal clear.
Because let's just be real for a second. A tool that can confidently invent things out of thin air isn't an assistant. It's not helping you, it's a ticking time bomb. It's a massive, totally unpredictable liability for anyone who touches it.
And that's really the moral of the story here. The technology itself isn't evil. The real crime, the actual danger, is rushing to trust these systems completely, without building in any way to hold them or their creators accountable.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. As these tools become a bigger and bigger part of our lives, our jobs, everything, we really have to ask ourselves, when a tool sounds as smart as an expert, but lies as smoothly as a con artist, who do we blame when it all goes wrong? It's a question we're all going to have to answer, probably a lot sooner than we think.